Following the death of Moses, Joshua, the son of Nun, was chosen by God to lead the Israelites. Joshua had been a faithful assistant to Moses for many years, and now the responsibility of guiding the people into the Promised Land rested on his shoulders. God encouraged Joshua to be strong and courageous, reassuring him that he would be with him just as he had been with Moses. With this divine assurance, Joshua called the people together and instructed them to prepare provisions, for in 3 days they would cross the Jordan River to enter the land that had been promised to them. The people responded with unwavering loyalty, promising to follow Joshua's leadership and to obey his commands, just as they had done with Moses. Understanding the challenges that lay ahead, Joshua decided to send 2 spies secretly into the city of Jericho, one of the most fortified cities in the region. The spies entered Jericho and sought refuge in the house of Rahab, a woman who lived within the city walls. When the king of Jericho learned that Israelite spies had entered the city, he sent men to capture them. However, Rahab, having heard of the miraculous deeds of the God of Israel, hid the spies on her roof under stalks of flax. She told the king's men that the spies had already left the city. Once the coast was clear, Rahab revealed to the spies that the people of Jericho were terrified of the Israelites, knowing that God had given them the land. In return for her protection, Rahab asked the spies to spare her and her family when the Israelites conquered the city. The spies agreed, instructing her to tie a scarlet cord in her window as a sign so they would know which house to spare. The spies then escaped the city and reported back to Joshua, filled with confidence that God had indeed delivered the land into their hands. As the Israelites approached the Jordan River, they faced a daunting obstacle. The river was at flood stage, swollen and fast-flowing. Yet Joshua, trusting in God's promise, led the people forward. He instructed the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant ahead of the people. As soon as the priests' feet touched the water's edge, the rushing waters miraculously stopped, piling up in a heap a great distance away, leaving the riverbed dry. The entire nation of Israel crossed over on dry ground, a momentous event that echoed the parting of the Red Sea during their escape from Egypt. To commemorate this miracle, Joshua had 12 men, one from each tribe, take stones from the riverbed. These stones were set up as a memorial so that future generations would remember how the Lord had brought them safely across the Jordan. Chapter 4: The Fall of Jericho. The city of Jericho, with its towering walls, seemed impregnable, but God had a plan. Joshua relayed God's unusual instructions to the people. They were to march around the city once a day for 6 days in complete silence, with 7 priests carrying trumpets of ram's horns before the Ark of the Covenant. On the 7th day, they were to march around the city 7 times. After the 7th circuit, the priests would blow their trumpets, and at Joshua's command, the people would shout with a mighty shout. The Israelites obeyed these strange instructions to the letter. On the 7th day, after completing the 7th march around the city, the priests sounded their trumpets, and Joshua gave the command to shout. The sound of the people's voices rang out, and in an astonishing display of divine power, the massive walls of Jericho crumbled to the ground. The Israelites charged into the city, capturing it completely. True to their promise, they spared Rahab and her family, who were later integrated into the community of Israel. Rahab's faith and bravery were rewarded, and she became an important figure in Israel's history, even becoming an ancestor of King David. Chapter 5: The Sun Stands Still. The conquest of the Promised Land continued, and as the Israelites pressed on, they faced a formidable coalition of 5 Amorite kings who had banded together to attack the city of Gibeon, which had made peace with Israel. The Gibeonites sent an urgent plea to Joshua for help. Without hesitation, Joshua led his army on an all-night march to Gibeon. God reassured Joshua not to fear the Amorite kings, for victory was assured. As the Israelites engaged the enemy, the Lord threw the Amorites into confusion, causing them to flee. As they fled, God sent a powerful hailstorm that killed more of the enemy than the swords of the Israelites. However, with the battle still raging and the day drawing to a close, Joshua needed more time to secure a complete victory. In a bold and unprecedented move, Joshua prayed for the sun to stand still over Gibeon and the moon to halt in the valley of Ajalon. Miraculously, the sun stopped in the sky, and daylight continued until the Israelites had utterly defeated their enemies. This extraordinary event demonstrated that God was fighting for Israel in a powerful and unmistakable way. Chapter 6: Joshua's Final Charge. Years passed, and Joshua grew old. Knowing that his time was near, he gathered all the tribes of Israel, along with their leaders, elders, judges, and officers, to give them his final words of guidance and warning. Joshua reminded them of all that God had done for them, from the miraculous crossing of the Jordan to the fall of Jericho and the countless battles won through God's intervention. He urged the people to remain steadfast in their devotion to the Lord and warned them against adopting the practices and gods of the surrounding nations, which could lead them away from the true God. In a stirring and heartfelt challenge, Joshua told the people they must choose whom they would serve, making it clear that he and his household had made their choice. They would serve the Lord. Moved by Joshua's words, the people renewed their commitment to God, declaring that they too would serve the Lord. To seal this covenant, Joshua set up a large stone as a witness to their pledge, ensuring that future generations would remember the promise made that day. Joshua's life came to a peaceful end at the age of 110. He was buried in the land he had fought so valiantly to secure for his people. The legacy of Joshua, the faithful and courageous leader, lived on, and the people of Israel continued to serve the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and the elders who had witnessed God's mighty works. Thank you for watching. If you found this story insightful, be sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more stories and lessons from the Bible. And as always, remember to stay rooted in faith and let the lessons of the past guide your journey forward. Until next time, may God's wisdom guide you in all that you do. Peace be with you.